Hello guys! Today we're recreating these tree spirits from the Studio Ghibli movie Princess Mononoke. They're called kodama, and when they appear it's a sign of a healthy forest. Here are the materials and let's get started. So I actually bought this figurine in Japan and it's very cute, but I kinda thought it would glow in the dark and well... So I decided to make a kodama myself that will glow, move and make noise. I just had no idea how to do it with limited skills and budget. Well, first I watched this clip about 400 times. Then after a lot of thinking, I finally had a simple idea. If you take a strip of flexible material and twist it, it will always come back to its original position. After a lot of testing, and I mean a lot, I learned a few things. First, a weak strip of plastic won't work. We need strong plastic, so ice cream or shampoo containers normally have good material. I cut out a long strip and made it fit inside a straw. I recommend using white or clear straws if you have them, but I just used what I had at home. By the way, I also peeled off the print from the strip to make it completely white. Next, to make the head, I'm using 2 bottle caps. I stabbed one with my trusty nail scissors and made a slit for the plastic strip. Then I tied a knot with the strip. And I inserted it into the bottle cap. If the slit is a bit tight, that's perfect because it will hold the strip in place. But you can use hot glue to hold it in place as well. Next, experiment with some beads to get the sound you like. Add them to your bottle cap and close it with another one. Then tape it shut. Make sure that everything is covered, especially this junction, or it will rust in contact with wet clay. And now you can test the mechanism. Add a straw and twist it. For a bigger head you can use a plastic bottle cap. Also a zip tie can be used instead of the plastic strip. Add the beads and close the cap with some cardboard and tape. Great, now we can sculpt the head. I recommend store-bought clay for this craft, but if you want to make a very simple clay, I show a recipe in this dragon egg tutorial. I'll link it at the end. In my experiments I learned that the clay makes the head quite heavy, so I'm trying to use as little as possible. If you're making a bigger head, I recommend making the general shape with aluminium foil or cling film, so you only have to add a thin layer of clay. I'm taking my time smoothing out the head with water. It's quite a slippery business.
We'll return in a moment.
When you're done, let the head dry completely. Then, if you want, you can use a file or sandpaper to make it even smoother. Unfortunately, the clay always muffles the sound a little, but this one has a nice sound. Now you can cut the straw at a slight angle and decide how long the torso should be. Then fold the strip and glue it to the bottom of the straw. Leave just a little gap right here. Next it's time to look for a rock. If you don't want the kodama's butt to come off while sculpting, like this guy's did, 3 times, I recommend choosing a rough textured rock that's fairly stable and washed. Then you can decide how to glue the kodama onto the stone and start gluing. I recommend looking at it from all angles. After dropping the kodama and performing a quick surgery, I started sculpting the body. Of course, sculpting the butt is the most fun part. I realized very soon though that I'm no Michelangelo. This is harder than it looks, but eventually I dared to try a trickier pose. It didn't turn out perfect, but I'm still happy with it. When that's dry, I'm cleaning the stone with a wet brush. A toothpick and even a needle are helpful too. I know it's a bit of a pain in the butt, but it has to be done. Again, I sanded my kodama to make it a little neater. And it's finally time for the face. Find the tiniest brush you have or use a toothpick. I found that a stiff brush was easier to use than a soft brush. Lastly, let's make the kodama glow. I tried a few options. Here are my experiments in daylight, UV light, and in the dark. The glow-in-the-dark paints were kind of disappointing and patchy, and the ones I got couldn't be layered. Nail polish can be layered, so it's a good option. Just know that it does change the color of the kodama and makes it shiny. Another option is to brush invisible ink onto the clay. It looks flawless, but is only visible in UV light. Would you rather buy a kodama or DIY one? If your answer is DIY, maybe you'll enjoy this new merch of mine. Stay crafty!